the headline is disappointing finish, clearly. It's like, if this is Sesame Street, the Vikings season is brought to you by the number 9. 9 wins in a row and 9 sacks in the playoff loss. These two things are mutually exclusive and facts. The 9 sacks in the playoff loss are partially because the Rams' defensive line dominated the Vikings' offensive line. That was reshuffled when they lost their left tackle in the first loss to the Rams this year. In a moment towards the end of the first half where you're wondering, why are we even attempting to do what we're doing? Play for the second half. And in the playoff loss, one of the 9 sacks comes in a moment at the end of the first half where you're wondering, why are we even attempting to do what we're doing? You got the ball first at the top of the second half. And, instead of being down 21-3, we're down 14-3. Let's play some defense, get out of Dodge, come back, score to start the second half. And we're down 14-10. Instead, now you're down 21-3. And then 24-3. Actually, is the number. It's kind of crazy. So it was an off night for everybody, to be honest with you. But we're all talking about the quarterback. It is a quarterback-driven league. And, I'm not a tape head, not an all-22 guy. I'm not going to come here and say I haven't checked the film yet. I can just say a lot of those sacks were on Sam Darnold holding on the ball too long sometimes.
Yeah, along with that line was...
the interception that he threw, he couldn't follow through because his right tackle was in his lap. There were other times where he could step up and throw and he didn't. There were times when he stepped up and he threw and he did and connected. But it is a Sam Darnold conversation this morning. And there are 2 ways to look at it. That he reverted to the Sam Darnold we all thought he was, which is a guy who sees ghosts, can't handle the pressure, and folded in a must-have game in Detroit and a must-have game in Arizona, not even in the home of the Rams, in the makeshift home of the Rams. And or it is a team game, and this guy didn't have the protection up front, and the Rams were the better team. That's it. And he is somebody worthy of having stick around. This is what Sam Darnold had to say last night about whether the last 2 games of the season will cost him his ability to stick around there in Minnesota.
I'm not worried about that. That's in the past. Right now, I'm thinking about, like I said, what I could have done better today, and just really spending time with the guys in the locker room. That's really all I'm focused on right now, is just, because at the end of the day, in the NFL, you only get one season with one team, with everyone together. And today wasn't our day. And it's as simple as that. And for me, I'm just going to be focused on spending as much time as I can with those guys in the locker room. And then I'll think about, whatever the future holds after that.
Can I throw something out at you guys and see what you have to say? And whether I'm being 2 glass half full, which is my default.
Sure. What do you got?
Since you're the glass half empty guy a lot of the time.
Well, you'll hear my take on it in a minute.
Okay.
In Overreaction Monday on a Tuesday.
Okay. That Sam Darnold had a terrific football season in which, wait for it, he's still developing. And the guy over the last 2 weeks showed he still has some work to do to get where he needs to go. We're pointing out that we've been making the analogy, him and Baker Mayfield, the entire time. They've been drafted 2 spots apart. They wound up in the same Carolina diaspora. You can write that one down.
Jeez. I mean, what do we, Rich?
Out in the
Diaspora.
Okay.
Pink
You can
Floyd
look it
album?
up. No,
Nah,
no,
it
no,
was
no.
after Delegates Out of Thunder.
Diaspora. Look it up. Look it up. They wound up in the same spot at one point in time.
So just say that.
Well, but diaspora means that you're wandering in the desert.
Yeah, but nobody knows that.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, those who did will appreciate the reference, and those who do not are now smarter for it.
I called you a wordsmith yesterday, and you took it negatively, but,
How am I a wordsmith?
you know, big words I don't understand. You don't use them as disrespect.
But they wound up in the
ORA.
same spot, trying to
Dystopian.
find. And remember, they were competing for the one job to finally get through, and they wound up going elsewhere. And Baker got his shot and made the playoffs. Won a division. It's a different division. The 14 wins, by the way, name another division. Would have had him at home, except the AFC West. So he did a terrific job under the circumstances. You take a look, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, they ate. They ate. They didn't leave a lot of crumbs on the plate. And do we look at Darnold in the last 2 weeks as a guy who no longer deserves to have a shot in Minnesota? And that's who he is. That's who he is. And that's the end of it. And he's done. The 14 wins were a complete mirage. Well, the head coach is the ultimate evaluator, and obviously he's the one that's going to make this decision. Obviously, the front office, I get it, but he's the quarterback whisperer. This is what he had to say on the subject matter, first blush Monday night.
I think it's very important we all think about, Sam's body of work, what he was able to do this year, when not very many people thought he would be able to lead a team to 14 wins. Very rare for a quarterback in their first year. In fact, it is rare, the most wins by a first-year quarterback with a team. And just the way he came in, committed himself to just a daily process to be the best version of himself. It did not work out in the end. And I think Sam would be the first one to tell you. Could he have played better tonight? I'm sure he would tell you that he could have. And those moments where you're holding that ball and your reaction is to try to make a play, we can't talk out of both sides of our mouth because he sure as heck made a lot of plays doing that this year. But I think that's part of the growth. Remember, this guy's 27 years old or whatever he is, and I think he has a foundation now of both the things you do at the quarterback position to have success and the things that sometimes you have to learn the hard way.
Bingo. Couldn't have said any better myself. So here's what I think the Vikings should do. What they should do is re-sign Sam and come up with a number that they won't go past. And if I'm Sam Darnold, I accept that number. Because what I think Sam Darnold did lose in the last 2 weeks, other than those games, is the ability to say, I need a fair market value contract. Like if he took the Vikings to the NFC Championship game, he'd have that ability to say, I'm next in line like Tua was, and I'm next in line like that. If he took him to the NFC Championship game, his agent would absolutely have that ability to say something like that.
No, and then he would have ended up signing the Baker deal. 3 for $100.
Well, maybe not, but just think about it. If he'd won that game and he went into Philadelphia and beat the Eagles,
Is he the reason they win?
yes, which every quarterback pretty much is in the playoffs. Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen,
Jalen Hurts wasn't the reason the
Matthew
Eagles won
Stafford.
over the weekend.
Well, I mean, pretty much everything. That's why I said pretty much. I think he's lost his ability to have a large hammer in negotiations. How does that sound? We can find the right, way to term it.
I think he cost himself $50 million.
If he did, you know what? So be it. He should stay put in Minnesota. He should stay in the warm embrace of Kevin O'Connell and this offense.
But be the backup?
No, I don't even know if he would be. This is the conversation to be had. You don't just give J.J. McCarthy the job just because you drafted him where you did.
Yes, you do. That's how it works.
All right, I hear you.
Yeah.
And by the way, look at me saying this. You know how I believe in J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
But by the way, if J.J. McCarthy shows up to training camp and looks like,
how we did in the preseason?
or Penix, was apparently showing up in practice or back in the day, and again, I don't compare, I just compare stories. Brady back in the day outplayed Drew Bledsoe in the training camp prior to the year that he got his shot due to injury. So I'm saying you bring Sam Darnold back 100%, and you tell him there's a competition. And I know you wind up potentially paying somebody $25-30 million to be your backup. If that's the case, I don't think you let him walk. And if you're Sam Darnold, what are you going to just hope it's better in Tennessee?
If you're Minnesota, yes, you want to bring Sam back because that makes your quarterback room better. But if you're Sam Darnold, you're going on Zillow and you're looking at real estate in New Orleans, Nashville, and Pittsburgh.
That's not good. No, you can scratch Pittsburgh off that list.
Why? He's better than what they have right now.
Yeah, but no.
He'll have a market. He'll have a market, but why would you leave?
Pittsburgh fans won't get behind
Justin Jefferson and Kevin O'Connell if you don't have to.
Because he's not the starting quarterback.
He won 14 games for them this year.
Great. And so probably would have J.J. McCarthy.
No, I don't think you can say that.
And, by the way, he's doing that to just put me in a position.
I'm actually not. They're probably the same player.
A rookie who's never played in the NFL before.
Sam Darnold.
Really? How did Jaden Daniels do?
You can't just throw
Did he
out
win 14 games?
He's won 13 so far.
I'm just saying you cannot throw out the entire season because in the game in Detroit and this one, it's a team game, man. And it was off for everyone last night. Defensively, right off the bat. Offensively, they didn't protect.
Yeah, they weren't.
And part of the reason why they didn't protect is Sam Darnold held on to the ball too long on occasion. And he should have gotten rid of it. The moment where Jared Verse picks the ball up and runs it in pretty much ended the game. And, Darnold should get rid of the football quicker, but it's part of a process. And who knows about setbacks or whatever. I love J.J. McCarthy, and I think he's going to be a terrific quarterback in this league. If I'm the Minnesota Vikings, I play it by half if I can. And if I'm Darnold, I want to stay with Kevin O'Connell as my coach and Josh McCown as my quarterback coach in a quarterback room that it does appear to be a healthy spot, and that's a Hall of Fame wide receiver after just 5 years. I don't want to leave that. Kirk Cousins did. How'd that work out for him? And then just this last reminder again that we're having this conversation at all is how humbling this sport can be. 15 days apart. Pop it up on the screen. On the left, Sam Darnold is on the shoulders of his teammates, not knowing what to do with his hands, as he said. Just like celebrating life, career best 370-plus yards against the Packers to put them in the position of winning the 1 seed in the division. And then 15 days later, sacked 9 times, season's over, one and done, and we're all wondering if he's really the guy on the left. This is a humbling game.
Not for long.
And why it's sometimes just tough to take. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.